So it is over. John Cena loses his last ever match to Gunther on Saturday night's main event. It was a pretty boring match, the sort of match that I expected it to be. You got a few spots here and there, but the general level of wrestling between these two isn't going to be amazing because John Cena's lost a lot of his speed and smoothness and athleticism, etc. And he's really slowed down. Of course he is. It's his final year. So the match wasn't amazing. AA through a table, that's cool. But an AA off the second rope, that was cool as well. But other than that, nothing really. It's a bog standard match, really. And Gunther submits John Cena. Insane to me that in his last match, they have Cena submit. Not even get pinned. Submit. And, it was some decent acting from John Cena on his part because you saw that little smile, the little acceptance just before he tapped. And that sort of reminded me of the scene from Breaking Bad. Right at the end, the final scene when the police are coming into the compound and Walter's, on the ground. Walt is Walter Hartwell White. He's on the ground, like in the compound, like looking up at the scene, and he's dead. And like he lets off that little grin, like that. Yeah, like I'm done now. Like this is it. It's over. Like literally, it's over now. And that's the sort of grin I got from John Cena just before he tapped against Gunther. But then after that, Cody Rhodes and Punk come out, congratulate him and all that. The roster comes out, is clapping, pro. And that was just it. It just ended. Like, how could they, when Cena was there, and he's like in the middle of the ring, and do you know what I mean? He's just there in the middle of the ring, and he's standing there, and he's like, Cena's just taking it all in, bro. Imagine if they played Edge's music, You Think You Know Me. How unglued would that stadium have become? But they didn't. This is really it, apparently. This is really the final match for John Cena. Still feels hard to believe because the run's been so awful. It feels like it's not fair for him to leave on this sort of note because the run's been so bad this entire year. And I think in history books, people will see heel turn and then they'll say that he went on to wrestle Punk, Orton, AJ, Cody, Gunther, etc., Brock Lesnar. But what they're forgetting is they're leaving out a key part of context where all of these matches were bad. All of them were boring. None of them were great matches. I don't want people to forget that. Like, it's not like John Cena was putting on great matches throughout this year. It wasn't at all, in my opinion. But, yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this. It's over. That's it. It's been a bad run. It's been a load of boring matches, a failed heel turn, a flat babyface return. They tried to then sort of make it count. They're like, okay, we've turned him back face at SummerSlam. Let's make the rest of this year count, and they just didn't. And they just didn't. So yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys thought of Cena's run. What did you think of this final match? And how do you think of the way he went out? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think personally, it's sad as hell, sorry as hell. And one of the reasons, because the thing is, right, at least in AEW, even if the storylines aren't great, typically they're actually better than the rubbish that we've been seeing in WWE, in my opinion. It's better than that. And at least on any given night, you could see a Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kyle Fletcher match. On any given night on AEW, you could see a match that good. Not maybe that good, but between two really high-level wrestlers, you're not getting that in WWE. You're not getting that in WWE. So that's something you need to take into consideration, especially when comparing like levels of main events in terms of ability of wrestler. AEW's got the far better, talented in-ring performers in terms of main event talent compared to WWE, in my opinion, right now. In my opinion. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of John Cena's final run. What did you think of the way that match ended? Let me know in the comments below. I'm super curious to know what you guys think. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.